of anything other than the fact that I knew you. Sometimes you build relationships with people that, you know, they lived in a van in Costa Rica and didn't have a phone, so it wasn't that we were talking all the time. It was the results that he was producing in the other scene we were in, and it was literally, he could hypnotize people, and I knew that he could do it. Because there were people that would call me, I kid you not, there were people that would call me from your team, and I would say, well, what is it that made you join David? And they said, because I got on his 3-hour webinar and he hypnotized me and I got in. And so I was always fascinated by that, and I learned a long time ago that, and I shared with my team the other day, that I'd rather be hokey pokey, I'll try anything, hokey pokey and rich, than to be dignified and broke. I'd rather be hokey pokey and rich than to be, you know, all stuffy and dignified and broke. Period. And so I thought the hokey pokey stuff was working because he had a team bigger than mine. And we just never had the opportunity to work together. Now, around that time when Empower was starting, there were some things going on, not just in my business, but in Nicole's business, in your business, in other women's businesses, and we would talk on the phone or Skype or whatever, and we realized that something was happening in the marketplace, and we were burned out. We were tired. I was sick of doing webinars 3 days out of the week from 9 to 11, and then people still emailing me, asking me questions about everything I just said in 3 hours. It didn't matter how many webinars, how many teleseminars, it didn't matter how many courses, it didn't matter how many events, it didn't matter how many bonuses, how many super secret trainings, it didn't matter. People just, it was burning us out. And there was a gap in the marketplace, and I didn't know where to go. I know some other people didn't know where to go, but, you know, David is a pioneer, and he's a genius. Both Davids are.
He's an evil genius.
And so when we were at an event and we were both speaking at that other deal, the speakers had tables, and you don't see any of that here, which is different than what we're used to. But we all had tables, and David had on similar gear, what he has on now.
But with yellow armpits.
With the yellow armpits, and he was on the bonus check. And we were in Orlando, and he had one of those big Mickey Mouse hands. And he had that hand, and he carried that check around with that hand around the resort. And there was a big corporate conference going on with nice high boy tables and hors d'oeuvres and all the people very dressed in their, corporate stuff. And they was walking around with the armpit shirt and a check and a hand with Mickey Mouse. Watched David walk around. I knew he had a secret meeting. He always had secret meetings, right? And so I just kind of watched him, and I asked him, would he take a picture? Can I take a picture of him with that Mickey Mouse deal? And so I did it. And then it wasn't too long after that, in the hallway, Dave Sharp actually said, well, you know what? And I had never really met Dave Sharp, but at that time, Dave had a training on Craigslist. I don't remember. It seems like it's so long ago, right? He did some stuff on Craigslist, and I kind of tapped into that. And so I knew who he was. Tracy, I want to talk to you about something. And I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. Because we were busy, right? We were busy. You're speaking at an event. You're trying to sell stuff at your table, and you're trying to do all that. And so I never made it around hanging out with these guys at the 30-person secret meeting in the same hotel I was in. In fact, Nicole was 9 months pregnant, 8 months pregnant, and went to the meeting or hung out with you guys at the pool. And then, so she comes back and she goes, yeah, I spoke to Dave today, but I'm just tired. I don't have time for that. I'm tired. I don't want to handhold. I don't want this. I don't want that. So I said, well, I'm going to Skype you guys when I get home. And we did. We had that conversation. I said, well, Dave, what is it really? He goes, oh, it's just, it's really a scam. We're just shifting money around. Don't worry about it. Just get it. That's what he said to me, right? He goes, no, Trace, I'm just kidding. Kind of broke it down a little bit. But the deal that I understood where Dave was coming from, because David was a blogger in a sense, like I was a blogger. And so I knew he was tired. And when you get to a point just in your life, this is just representative of a lot of areas of life, but when you get tired enough of something, then you're willing to probably do things that you otherwise would not have done. And I felt that maybe you were at that point, because I know I was. However, I felt that David probably knew some things I didn't know, and you could probably make it work. So when he said, we're going to email you the NDA form and fill it out and send it back, I did that, and I immediately went and did a video, because this was October the 26th. We didn't launch until October the 31st.
The site didn't work. The site wasn't working.
The site wasn't working.
Neither did the content.
So I said, why can't I just go into, so I was looking at well, can I just go into the site and sign up? And they was like, no, just fill out this form. So I'm like, okay. So I send it over, I do a video, and when people would opt into that video, I would redirect them to the 40-year meeting of the 30 people inside that hotel room in Orlando. And I started doing that, and I think that it was so refreshing to the marketplace that people in my circle of influence actually just took hold of it. They took hold of it right away. And so I kind of hit the ground running. I believed in both of you. That was why I'm here. That's why, and that was the question. It's because from the day that you shared it with me, I figured that if anybody would be able to close the gap in the marketplace, I would run with you. That was it. And if it didn't work, this was my theory. I mean, some people are afraid of a lot of different stuff. And people have called me and asked me, well, you have a brand on the internet. Weren't you afraid that if it crashed and burned, that everything would fall to pieces? And I said, really, I wasn't. Because the thing is, I believed in it. And so if it didn't, then I figured they would come up with something else. They would come up with something else. I just didn't think David was doing this to bullshit everybody. I just didn't think that. I didn't think that. So I just wrote with it. So that's why I'm here. A little bit about my story from the beginning. I mean, I grew up in Chicago and went to school, and I have a master's degree in business. I have a concentration in marketing. I worked corporate for a little bit. I was laid off after September 11th. I started a real estate investment company, negotiated short sales. I did really good in that business for about 4 years, when the market crashed down. I was introduced to network marketing in 2007. I did everything offline. Our team grew really fast. We were the largest team in Chicago at that time, but I was doing all the presentations. Every Tuesday, every Thursday, every Super Saturday. Training, standing up there and doing this. Buttons. We had, if I could show you a way of this, and if I could show you a way of that. And we had t-shirts and all types of things. But people were not motivated to do their own presentations. And because my money depended on how well you did the presentation, I would say, well, I'll do it.
Anybody ever done that, just out of curiosity? You are liars.
So, people look at different things now and say, well, how do you speak like this and that? Well, it was a lot of work. Like David did a lot of wandering out around in Walmart. You learn what doesn't work. Well, I did a lot of presentations at my job before I got laid off. I did a lot of presentations in college. I did a lot of presentations in network marketing, and I figured out what worked and what didn't work, or for me in speaking it, delivering it. And so got tired, got burned out, and went to the internet and found David. And at that point, I just decided I was going to just do whatever he told me to do. So I needed 3 things: a blog, so I needed a lead capture page, he told me I needed all wrong. That's all I knew about the internet. I didn't know HTML, I didn't know CSS, I still don't know that crap. I don't know, all I know is how to bold, how to underline, and I know a couple of H1, H2 tags. What I taught you from 15K is all the hell I know. I don't know, go back and watch whatever I said in the video. And so what ended up happening was we got in that field and we were running out. We were doing a lot of things for not so much money over time. And the town was there. A lot of us were there. Yeah. And then David was like the #1 guy, and he was making like $10 grand a month. Right? And I'm thinking, I'm busting my butt, and I'm not even really at like 5 anymore. And I thought, this isn't going to work. I can't. And then I'm trying to convince people that they should stay in the game, and I wasn't feeling it. So when Empower came out, I just figured I got to try something. And I ran with it from day one. I didn't really know anything about anything when we hit the issues with the merchant accounts. I didn't care. See, I was tired. Anybody ever been tired? When you're tired, there's just certain things that they're not monsters in your universe. To me, the merchant account is not a monster in the universe. Because Dave, I figured wanted it. The vision was big enough for all of us. And so if we just rallied around them and supported them as leaders, and I think all of us did, everybody that's in the business here now, whether you took some time off or not, I figured they would figure it out. And we did it twice, right? And during that time, I was almost like a slave driver. My team will tell you I was. Don't call me with, I can't process, don't call me, I can't process either. So I'm sitting on this call, blog every day. You always complain about content, write something every day. And since the merchant account isn't working, then you shouldn't have to worry about not getting sales. So by the time they figure it out with the merchant account, you should have at least 30 pieces of content ready to rock and roll, loaded up on your blog, ready to go. And as soon as Dave and Dave come out on that Power Hour call and say we're back up and running, you should be able to hit submit and you should be able to start rocking and rolling. That was my theory. And I think it worked. It was a hunch, but I trusted your hunch, and so I had my own hunch, and we just rolled.
And look at the team. So guys, here's what I want to point out. Some people, when they got struggles, they just jump. You know what I'm saying? They just run, they run away or whatever, or they've had a bad taste in their mouth. What's the difference between becoming great and not? Right? The difference is what you do when you're running into something that's a problem. Right? And the question that's going to determine whether you guys are going to make, $25 a month, $5,000 a month, or $100,000 is what you're going to do when you run into problems. Just remember that story. That's badass, Tracy. Give Tracy.